was time when like blah, blah, blah. Blast off into the story, and about halfway through, realize, oh no, this has nothing to do with what they asked me. And so I'm just like, already like the train is gone, dude. Yeah. I'm just like, oh boy. And so it's like by the time you wrap up the story, and like, dude, the worst thing to hear in an interview is when they go, okay. Welcome to another episode of the Gringo and the Guapo with your host as always, Kyle McLemore, my host beside me as always,
Alex Duarte.
That's right, back in studio, back in action, and before we get too far along, make sure you hit the old like and subscribe button. It's much appreciated, and it helps the pod stay alive. How are you, sir? Thank you for making the trip. It's always good to see you. Shall we? Cheers.
Yes, of course.
There you go. It's good to see you. Anything new with you?
Not much, man. Just enjoying my Cardinals lose 0-27. You know,
so we're jumping right into it.
I'm gonna go straight into it. You know, because like I don't want to. You know, it was already pretty painful. So
it's a sore subject. I'm sure. I was not sure if I wanted to bring it up because. Actually, this year's been probably the least amount of football I've been able to watch because I do work on Sundays.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit inconvenient, but like 99% of the games I've seen so far have been just visually watching them on like, you know, Google scoreboard or whatever. So it's like I just watch them digitally or just watch the digits on the scoreboard. And so I'm watching, you know, the different scores, periodically checking like every half hour or whatever, and I just remember looking and just being like, "Ooh, oh boy, a big old goose egg," and
yeah,
I'm sure it hurts. I'm sure it can't possibly feel good. Was this the final? It was
0-27.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sure that doesn't feel good.
No,
but was it a 0 and? God, I think I blocked it out because it was so traumatizing. 0 and like 70? What was it when Miami just stomped us? So maybe keep it in perspective that it could have been worse.
Yeah.
I like to think of the only bright side of the Bronco game is that they didn't hit 100. I consider that a win. It's like at least they stopped before they hit triple digits.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah, that would have been pretty painful.
No, it's still, I still honestly cannot believe that, God, like, you would think that, like, somebody would run out there, like, just, like, throw in the towel, like, stop it, he's already dead. Like, once you pass, like, 50 and, like, dude,
if you're 50 and 0, it's
how did we not even kick a field goal that whole game? Oh,
I mean, that's crazy.
Do me a favor, maybe you can keep an eye on me on this one. I need to stop. I play with the mic too much. And every time I touch it, literally like, it pits up, so I'm trying to stop. So
it makes sense? Okay.
Keep an eye out on me.
I'm watching you.
But yeah, so if you want to talk about your Cardinal loss.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of expecting a loss just because...
Remind me, who?
Who's throwing?
No, who's playing?
Oh, who's playing?
Cardinals versus...
Oh, Cardinals versus the Cleveland Browns.
The Browns, okay,
And Deshaun Watson just came back from his injury, too.
This actually makes me a little bit nervous because I don't think it's this week. I think we play Vikings, but I think next week it might be the Browns. Because I remember looking at my schedule ahead, and I remember vividly in my mind looking like, all right, we could probably take, them. All right, we could take them. Browns, we got that. But now I'm like, oh boy.
Watch out.
Cleveland ain't playing this year, I guess.
Yeah, they're a squad. I feel like, I mean, either way, I mean, our defense was doing good at the beginning of the game. But I feel like our offense was so fucking terrible that it was just like not a chance. And then you could probably tell that the defense was just wearing down. But yeah, we also traded our second string quarterback, and we had a rookie that we drafted this season, Clayton Tune.
It's that time of the year.
It was his first time playing. So.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's that time of the year where it's like start doing a lot of people getting moved around, a lot of people getting fired or changed out. I think the big one I heard was Josh McDaniels, no more head coach of the Raiders. He's out of there. I'm not sure where he is now. He's always one that floats around a lot, though. He was our head coach for a while. He's I feel like he's always better suited for more like the coordinator position, offensive, or maybe
yeah.
I think he's been the quarterback coach or whatever it is. I think he's good at that too. But anytime he's like head coach, it's just like disaster.
I kind of want to say the same for our old defensive coordinator, Todd Bowles. He was coordinator around when Bruce Arians was our coach.
Oh, okay.
And like he seemed like to be our defense was really good, especially our secondary when he was playing or when he was like coordinating. But then as soon as he's like was coaching, it seemed like that's where he struggled really bad. I can't remember where he got his first coaching gig. I want to say it was the Jets. And then I think with them he struggled a lot. And then I'm pretty sure he joined Bruce Arians to be the defensive coordinator of the Buccaneers. So it was like that same duo. And then Bruce Arians kind of like did kind of like a retirement or something where he was still involved, but not like directly as a coach. And I don't know. It just seems like
It's weird to think about like the NFL, like pretty much any position. I mean, whether you're like playing on the field or the head coach himself, it's like it's just like your job is always not only on the line, but there's always a dude standing next to you, like ready to like put me in. I'm ready to take over. Like no matter if you're the quarterback or the head coach. Like, And then just like imagine being like, I mean, I'm sure he got picked up probably the next day, but Josh McDaniels like, I'm just unemployed now. Like they fired me, and I just gotta hope that another team is like, yeah, we'll take you. So it's just like you just don't have a job.
I feel like usually that's the case. Like, our second string quarterback, Josh Dobbs. We traded him to the Vikings because I think Kirk Cousins he ruptured his Achilles, I believe, or something.
Oh, jeez.
So he's done for the season, and we were losing a bunch of games with him. We only won once against the Cowboys, which felt good. But then he goes into the Vikings, wins his first game with them.
Jeez.
Yeah, on the he makes a comeback drive, and I think they had 40 seconds left on the drive, and they got the touchdown.
Really showing you what you're missing there.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, so many people were pissed at him. Dude, I follow this one guy who does all Cardinals news and post-game reactions, and he was so mad. I think this was kind of like karma because he literally called him can't throw Josh Dobbs or something like that.
Okay.
Or
maybe,
Josh.
Maybe work on your
Josh.
Work on your nicknames or burns there.
I think it was Josh.
Good old can't throw.
I think it was Josh can't throw Dobbs, and he was I know he was furious. And he was like, I've been preaching about Clayton Tune.
Oh, I see.
And then, this kind of just goes to show sometimes you don't realize what you got.
Who do you guys got next?
Who do we have next? We are going to play the Atlanta Falcons.
Have you had your bye or not yet?
We haven't had the bye yet. I think we got a couple more games.
Did you say Falcons?
Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons.
That's always a fun one. Battle of the Birds.
Yeah. So,
all right, you going to Atlanta or is it going to be at home?
It's going to be at home.
Well, speaking of the Vikings, that's who we got next is Minnesota, yeah.
Okay, so you will be playing Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, so hopefully it's the start of a good thing here because, we went straight from our unbelievable win against the Chiefs, breaking another bummer when they throw those stats up, breaking a 17-game streak where they just have not beaten the Chiefs in the last 17, whatever times that we've played them, which is just oh boy.
Yeah.
No wonder I have this this feeling every time I play them. I'm just fucking Chiefs, man.
That was us with the Rams. And we had a losing streak before they had Sean McVay, but even with Sean McVay, it just got worse because he's a freaking genius. And it was cool because I got to be there in person to see us break that streak.
Oh, nice. That's always cool.
I think for us it was, I want to say it was an 8-game.
Dang.
It was an 8-game win streak.
Rams.
And then both the Cardinals and the Rams were 3-0.
Ooh.
And it was in LA at SoFi Stadium.
Hopefully coming off of our bye and then going to the Vikings, hopefully coming off that big win, get the whole 2 weeks of being yeah, we're the greatest. So hopefully we're finally hitting our stride. I feel like
I think that'd be great.
I mean, it's unfortunate that it's finally gelling this late in the season, but there is some gelling seeming to like finally be going on. So it's like, even if it is, not the best season, it's like hopefully it is at the end of the day. Finally, that step where it's like, all right, now we're moving in the right direction. Hopefully.
They do say it's not how you start, but how you finish.
True,
So,
but it's like also
but,
too. It's
I mean, sometimes it depends on.
No, and then it's just like it's just this feeling too. Is like we have all these amazing pieces of this puzzle, but they just haven't been like fitting lately. It's like Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, like these amazing pieces.
Yeah.
They just don't seem to like really be gelling, but now it's like, all right, it seems like we're finally turning a corner here.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Have you become a fan of Josh Allen? Because he left our team to join the Broncos.
Oh, that's cool.
I was hoping. He had his best season yet. Last season with us. So
I always thought Josh Allen was cool. I got that's even cooler to know that he's joining the squad. Broncos country.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's
Very
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
Super fucking good.
There was some news.
He was killing it last season.
News did come out earlier about who Dave Portnoy is.
That sounds really
I'm pretty
familiar.
sure you have to know. If I showed you a picture, you'd know.
Yeah.
He's like the owner of that Barstool Sports thing, company, social media, whatever you want to call it. I guess he put out like a huge bet. He bet like, I can't remember, bet like $60K or something like that on who he guessed would be the winner. And I believe he picked Bengals to win the Super Bowl.
Oh.
I think he picked Bengals to beat Eagles.
Okay, that's realistic.
I think.
Yeah.
I think. And I think that if he wins, he gets like $200K or something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember the specifics, but I know for sure Bengals are the ones that he picked to win the Super Bowl. Bengals.
Yeah. Okay.
So that brings me over
AFC.
to, we can wrap up our football talk here. So, I mean, if you had to, no picking your own team either. I mean, even though it's pretty obvious it's going to be a Arizona-Denver Super Bowl.
Yeah,
but
of
let's
course.
make it a little more interesting. Let's
Yeah.
just say, who was your second pick for the Super Bowl if you had to go?
Second pick.
You want to do like who do you think's going to win the whole cake, or you want to pick like who do you think's going to be there in the bowl?
Okay. I want to say let's do who's going to be in the bowl.
Okay. How about we each we'll pick? How about we each pick one?
Okay.
Because I'm feeling the perp. I'm feeling the Ravens. I feel like the Ravens have been solid as a rock.
Yeah.
All year, like not just solid, but like rocking people all year. I feel pretty good about the Ravens.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same, and I feel like Lamar Jackson's kind of like due, like a good. He's had like his
been in there long enough
injuries.
where it's like,
he's always like he was a big talk for a while. Which I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Like he definitely deserves, to have that kind of respect because he is really good. I think it's just been like injuries kind of holding him back, and maybe like
bad timing.
Yeah, bad timing, just bad play calling. But I feel like he's an amazing quarterback.
Who else do
for
I
one?
like besides Ravens?
But I was gonna. I mean, Eagles are looking pretty strong too. I mean, they did go to the championship last season.
Crazy. The Chiefs are the former champs, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs look good. I hate to say it. I mean, we just talked about goddamn 17 times in a row. Until last week.
And they got the power of the Swift.
The power of the Swifties. You can't deny that Mahomes is good. You can't deny that he basically is, with him and Kelsey, it's just like, you triple coverage, and it's still, he's so tall and huge that it's just like, it's impossible to keep him covered the whole game. Tough to leave the former champs out of the equation. I think they'll definitely be contenders, as they always are.
Yeah,
especially
they're pretty much the new Patriots.
And if you're thinking about like, being in our division isn't the strongest. Chargers haven't been the best. I feel like everyone's not the best. Raiders aren't the best. I feel like everyone's starting to slowly get better. Raiders have been okay as in the last couple of games. They just stomped the Giants, which I was not expecting.
I think they just fired a ton of people right before that too.
No, that's what happened. As soon as they fired McDaniels, they stomped New York. So it was like, well, clearly it was the right move. You got to feel like, dude, imagine being Josh McDaniels like, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. And the next day, dude, just annihilating their opponent. Like, oh, geez, I guess you're not going to miss me.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like I saw a couple plays, and it seemed like the team had like this like serious energy. Like they were pumped. So maybe they were actually like happy that he was gone. You know who? Because they had that energy for sure.
I actually liked it when they had what's his name, Mr. Thursday Night, John Gruden.
Yeah,
I actually dug it with Gruden, dude. Just like it was a good fit.
You heard about all the crazy stuff?
No, I don't even know why he's not there. Like,
might have to save this for another episode, but there was some like serious stuff going down. Like
maybe I do. When you said the word email.
Yeah, there was some emails that they pulled from
whatever.
Yeah, got leaked and like some stuff he was doing or saying. I don't remember exactly, but I don't know if like he got
been good.
Executed or something.
Just like talking smack on other people, or what?
I can't remember. He was saying some pretty sketchy stuff though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, no.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, it's weird, too, when you're at that level of, like, I guess it is fame. I mean,
yeah, I
know his name. You got to know. I mean, like, you got to know that, like, you're at the mountaintop and you're just ready to get pushed over. But football talk is always fun. Go Broncos. Go Arizona as well.
Yeah.
Best of luck in the rest. I think we are about halfway. Like, I think we are
we're
almost
about halfway.
More or less halfway through the season. So could be better, but it's like you said, not how you start. It is how you finish. Yeah. So moving on, we can talk to our first big segment of the episode. We're talking that weird, coinky-dinky, that coincidence, that weird feeling of deja vu that creeps over sometimes. You have any examples? Maybe you could bring one up while I try to think of one. I've actually been blanking this whole time.
Yeah, okay.
But feel free. Coinky-dinky, is it more than it seems? Is it all a big spider web design? Madam Web is watching all of us? Or is it all just spinning in space, man? Like, stuff happens. Yeah. Something that happened recently, a little glitch in the Matrix, or what's going on?
No, I think it was just when I was going through one of those like car washes at a gas station. Just like the machine going.
Oh yeah.
Not a fancy hand wash. But yeah, like how they have the air vents at the end to dry your car. I feel like it's always a pain in the ass to try to consistently get your car dried, You can never find I can never find that perfect speed. I'm either like going too slow and I'm like, oh, I think I got it right, but then you realize you only have like 5 seconds and like you've only dried the first part of your
windshield, the main windshield.
Exactly. So then I'm going through this last time, and the song by Kanye West called Drive Slow starts playing, and it's like just like perfect timing, and it's like I think at one part of the song he whispered, he's like, drive slow.
Yeah, it was speaking straight to you.
And then I was just like cracking up. I was like, that's pretty big coincidence right there.
The gods of fate reached out to you, and on another timeline you sped through that car wash and caused some major damage.
Yeah, but my Jeep ended up nice and dry because I was driving slow.
You ever hear about like there's like a big long thing that I remember, I think they brought it up like I was in elementary, and it blew my 10-year-old mind away, where it's like this whole paper of like weird coincidences where it's like, did you know that Abraham Lincoln's assistant was named John Kennedy, and John Kennedy's assistant was named Abraham? Like something. It's like a whole. I remember there's like this whole list of like weird, like like weird things through time where it's like, yeah, this happened at 3:10, and then like this other thing, just like all through time, these weird. I feel like this stuff happens long enough. You can draw like what's that? The Number 23. Remember that movie?
Number 23.
The Jim Carrey when he was going through his dramatic phase of his career. The Number 23, where it's like, you could pretty much like if you really force it, like oh my God, liquid death. Well, the number is times that, and did you know that D is the actual alpha for 14? 14 plus 7, 23. Like just all this stuff you could just like, or divide it by the width of the can. Right. Red is number 3 on the color scale. Like plus 20 is 23. It's like if you go really hard, You probably find coincidences like in
everywhere. Yeah, if you're probably
look,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I've had a couple people tell me like, they're like, oh, good friends of mine. They're like, oh, I just keep seeing like the number like 7 like everywhere. And then I'm like, you're probably just like noticing it a lot more.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes when
it hits like 11,
yeah. Or when like I want to buy a certain car, I'm like, oh, you know what? I think that would be a cool car to have. And then all of a sudden I start noticing, obviously, because I've been looking at that car, I notice, I'm like, damn, a lot of people have this fucking car. You know?
Oh, yeah. Like once you see, like, when you start playing Slud Bud or whatever, it's like once you see a buddy, you're going to start seeing them like everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I had this one cool coincidence. It was a good moment between like me and one of my sister's boyfriends. And like me and him would always like reminisce and talk about like how much we love CCR.
Oh yeah.
And
Credence all day.
And I'm like, dude, like, you know, we always like we'd get all excited about Born on the Bayou, right? And so like I'm playing it on my phone, and we're like, yeah, dude, like the song's amazing, yeah. And then we're like, all right, let's switch it up, like take it off the phone, and then let's listen to like I think my mom had Direct at the time. We listened to Direct music, and for a song that comes on, it's Born on the Bayou. And we're like, we just listened to the song, but there's no way we can't.
How many times does this happen to you? You ever listen to you're listening to like the Fox, and it's like, welcome to the jungle. And you're like, I've heard Welcome to the Jungle. Let me switch it over to another classic rock. Welcome to the jungle. And it's like, are you like, I know there's only a limited amount of classic rock, but seriously, you're both rocking. And then also there's multiple Guns N' Roses, but you're both doing Welcome to the Jungle.
Right.
I know I've had that happen more times than I can remember. Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Yeah, usually when that happens, unless I really like the song, I'll just probably like turn it off or something, give up.
If we're talking radio, it's actually been, I think radio is no longer a part of my life. Like it's, unless I'm in like a rented car or like, I can't even remember when.
Well, yeah, that reminds me, like, when my car broke down and I was borrowing my mom's, and I was like, you know what, well, like, because I didn't want to, like, sync up to her radio, so I was like, you know what, I'll just actually listen to the radio. And
it is cool for, like, a second, right? Like, it's not bad.
Well, I heard, like...
Until the commercial.
I was driving for, like, maybe, like, 2 hours, and I listened to probably 2 songs.
Jesus, what station are you listening to?
I mean, I'm over-exaggerating, but what I'm saying is, like, yeah.
All commercials all the time.
A ton of commercials. And then it was like one song, ton of commercials. Obviously, like, I guess, that's how they have to, like, handle the funding.
Now that I remember, it wasn't bad with Tyler. We did the big trip with Tyler's car, and he had the satellite. Satellite's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like, if you got Sirius XM.
No commercials, just all the way through.
Yeah, but, the regular, the OG radio is
FM,
tough, man.
is a little bit different.
Go ahead.
No, I was trying to think because I feel like I did want to move on, but then also I had I had it and then it floated away too. But yeah, we can move on if you want. No more.
Oh, real quick, off topic. What color would you say your shirt is?
Oh, I like to think of it as. I think it's too dark to be salmon.
Okay, I was kind of thinking that too. Maybe too pink to be salmon too.
Yeah,
but it's almost there. I don't know.
What are you trying to say about my sweater?
I'm just trying to say, like, it's a color that I feel like I've argued with people about before.
Well, as long as you're not saying anything bad, because I actually love this sweater. I love everything about it. I love the way it feels. I love the pockets. I love even the hood is like very comfortable hoodie.
Nice.
So
kind of
your
reminds
mouth
me of Patrick.
About my sweater. Yeah, I'd say
Patrick
it's
Star?
like not quite light enough. I feel like he's lighter.
Yeah, he probably is actually.
Maybe it depends on the lighting too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can move it on to a little thing called phobias. Ooh. Talking about fear. Talking about that scarecrow fear gas. Do you have any Indiana Jones type of fear where it's like you see a snake? Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? Like something that like paralyzes you, like. Something like a rat or like I feel like I wish I had brought up the I wish I brought up like the top, but I feel like I already know what the top is. Number one is always number one. You know number one, right? Always. More than like even dying.
I feel like I know number one, but it might be just number one for me.
Public speaking.
Oh, public speaking.
Public speaking is always
thinking about that.
Always throw me in a tank full of snakes. Throw me with a bunch of lions. You tell me to do a speech in front of somebody, like it's no good.
Dude, me being on this podcast.
Yeah, well, luckily it's like, okay, here, like in the little window.
I mean, even though we have millions of viewers.
Yeah, it's different than actually standing in front of a live audience. Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, and I've seen it, like, with tons of people. Dude, you know what makes me even more nervous is when, like, for example, like, when I was in college. And I would see that one person who's, like, really well-spoken, you know, and it seems like they have like a decent amount of confidence.
Yeah.
Get nervous.
Oh,
speaking.
yeah.
And when I would see them, I'm like, if he can't make it,
then what chance do I have?
I'm done.
I think
there's no way I can.
I think like the source can all be traced back to just freaking like school, dude, elementary school.
Yeah.
Even today, they still make me do it at my work, and I wanna just die every single time when like they still do it. Anytime we have a stupid work meeting, anytime there's one person that's new, especially if it's like a new manager or something, like, okay, so let's go around. My name's John. So fun fact about me is blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so we'll go around to everybody. You just tell me a fun fact about yourself. Tell me about blah 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 and blah blah blah. And the amount of like anxiety and panic and like just sick feeling that blasts through me, and those like, and then hopefully I'm the first one to do it, so I can just get it over with.
Yeah.
Because if I'm at the end, then it's just like 3 minutes, and I'm not listening to anything anyone says. And I try to use that to my advantage because I have to do this other stuff too, where I do have to speak in front of like a large audience. And in the build-up to my having to talk is that I'm just going through what I'm going to say in my head, and I'm not listening to anything anyone is saying. I'm basically pretending to listen while I'm just like running it in my head of what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And to help myself, I think, well, if I'm doing that, then there's other people that are doing that too. So while I'm talking, no one's going to be listening because I'm not listening to what they're talking. So when it's my turn, everyone's just going to be thinking about what they're going to say, and no one's really going to listen to what, like, does that make sense? Like, that's it's weird, but that's what I use to help myself, I guess.
Whatever works, man. Yeah, that does make sense. I actually try to kind of like piggyback off of other people when like they choose a certain topic and the way they explain it. They're like, oh yeah, and like my hobbies are, you know, skateboarding and music and whatever. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I could start like that too. And, you know, like just kind of doing that. I mean, to me, it's a way of kind of calming
totally.
myself
I used to not be able to, I had the same exact sick feeling of anxiety too, like way back in like elementary when it's like you would take turns reading your paragraph or whatever. And it's like, dude, I would like count like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, find my part in the book. Like, okay, this is what I'm going to be reading. See if there's any like giant words I'm going to struggle with. See if there's anything I'm going to mess up on. And then just like getting like hyped, like, okay, here comes my turn. Like, okay. Because like I would be watching it come down to me, and then you get to one kid who's like, and then the boop, 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 and you're just like, oh my God, I don't want to be that kid.
Okay, I had a recent experience, probably like a couple months ago, that it was a pretty painful experience. And it was on my friend's podcast, my other friend's podcast. And, you know, they do a lot more like film, like, you know, technique, like they just cover everything film related. And, you know, I really wish they would have told me that we were going to do a table reading on the podcast. So, and they listen to our podcast. So we'll talk about this. I'll talk about it with them.
Live table read.
But yeah, so they're like, like they didn't tell me anything leading up to it. They didn't say, hey, just so you know. And so I got a little cross-rated, you know. I had some gummies, you know, drinking some brews. You know, I was chilling, and then, you know, they mentioned the script during the podcast. I was like, oh, cool. Of course, I want to like, you know, I want to see what the script is about. Yeah. But then I didn't know that. Yeah, we were gonna do legit table reading and play as certain characters. So I had to be a character from the script.
I see.
And I think one of the things, dude, one of the things I struggled with the most was like, I've never read this. I'm fucking, you know, I'm high and drunk. You know, I'm feeling it. And then like, I'm trying to kind of give my character some life so I'm not monotone while reading it. Yeah. But then like some of the times I'm like thinking about like, almost like my performance at the same time reading it. So then I would struggle and stutter.
Just like layers.
Yeah. And then I'm like, and then just getting super anxious. I'm like, other people are listening to this. I was like, God damn it. And then I listened to the episode, and I still, God damn it. I wanted to fast forward.
Well, I mean, like, you know, lesson learned painful. About, like, you know, it's probably better to maybe not be, like, you know, crossfaded before a performance.
Yeah, well, but I mean, like I said, I had no idea.
And then also, like, having prior knowledge probably helps out too. I'll tell a tale too about public speaking is like in an interview setting too. Like in an interview when I was like applying for like a promotion, and like they have to like they'll ask you questions. Tell me about a time when this or that, and like you did this. Tell me about a time when you had to go outside your comfort zone. Blah blah blah.
Right.
And you want to talk about like being in your own head and the anxiety, and be like, oh yeah, so yeah, there was a time when like blah blah blah, blast off into the story, and about halfway through realize, oh no, this has nothing to do with what they asked me. And so I'm just like already like the train is gone, dude. Yeah. I'm just like, oh boy. And so it's like by the time you wrap up the story, and like, dude, the worst thing to hear in an interview is when they go, okay. I'm just like, oh, well, I guess I'll just, should I just get up and go? Because like, that's pretty much means that the interview's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we talked about public speaking. Are there any other like, big, people have weird fears too? People, what's the one like they're scared of like, or they have like the whole phobia or something like, or they have like, if I see a dryer lint or something
I think I had like weird dreams where I would fall into a hole.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you ever have like recurring dreams?
Yeah, I've had some pretty weird reoccurring dreams.
What stands out?
What stands out? There's one like, damn, this might put me on some kind of list.
Oh boy. Okay, well, be careful. We can always bleep or edit. So,
but I always have this dream where I'm trying to get away with like a murder, like that.
Always, dude. Every single time I close my eyes.
It's not.
All I dream about is murder.
No. It's not every time, but it's the same like one though. It's very and it sucks because that one I just get a ton of anxiety because I'm like I'm thinking about like where that person is buried.
Dude, the amount of anxiety of having to get away with murder.
I've had one friend like I talked to about like he looks up some stuff like that about dreams, and he was like, maybe he's like it's kind of like your way of trying to, I don't know. He was saying like trying to like get rid of like my ego or get rid of a certain fear or something. I don't know exactly, but the thing is like it sucks. Because, like, in my head, I'm like, dude, this is something I would never want to do, but it just happened.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to get
at least you're not like, no. Yes, like all super psyched about it.
It's terrifying. And then, like, I'm like, dude, like, and then I want to go back to, like, where that person is buried. By the way, we're still talking about a dream.
Yeah.
So,
it has not happened
and like,
yet.
It's a terrifying feeling. That's definitely one that
it definitely blew my mind.
Reoccurring too.
Yeah, I only have one dream that comes to mind that has happened more than once that I can remember, and it kind of blew my mind because when I just happened to be scrolling, this thing popped up about dreams, and it showed like around the world, like what the most common recurring dream is, like around the entire world. Turns out mine is also the same as like America and Canada and Australia, which has to be like an English coincidence, I guess, because they all three have like the same most recurring dream, which is like teeth falling out or teeth, just coming out.
I think I've had a couple of those.
Yeah, and it's terrible. I hate it. And I also looked it up. It is related to anxiety. So if you're feeling a lot of anxiety, I guess that somehow is related to just pulling your teeth out or having your teeth fall out or. I think it's always in my dream, like I feel it kind of loose, and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm just like, oh my god, like
yeah, damn,
yeah, okay. I hate it, yeah.
That, that's got to be pretty scary. Yeah. I think I've done that, like kind of waking up. You ever like kind of wake up and think that whatever was going on in your dream actually happened? Kind of you're half asleep.
You ever have that when you're like, starting to fall asleep? I did this a lot. You ever did that where you're like kind of drifting? And I'll get audio weirdness. Like, I've had it happen before where it's like I'm drifting, and I'll hear a scream, dude. Like, a screaming at the top of your lungs. And I'm kind of like, huh? And I have to, like, wait. Like, did I just hear somebody get murdered? And, like, I'm kind of like, 3, 2... Okay, either they're dead or I'm imagining it. Like, it happens a lot where, like, it's weird. Or, like, I'm just about to cross over and, like, some kind of audio... like something, and I'm just like, huh? And I'm like, oh, it was nothing.
Yeah.
Or it was just that one scream, and I never heard that person again.
Yeah, I had one. Oh, man, it creeped me the hell out, dude. So I woke up, and my room at this time was like always like really like pitch black, and I'm looking where I feel like I'm looking into like the open space of my room where there's like a couch and like the light switch is over there, and I obviously I'm half asleep because I heard like some kind of like either like almost sounded like a dog growling.
Oh.
And I was like, oh shit, like what's going on?
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, well, let me go to the light switch, and I take a step forward and I just run into my wall. I hit my wall, and I think that kind of woke me up a little bit more. And then I turn around, I'm like, oh, what the hell is going on? Like, it was so weird because I felt like I was already looking in that direction where the light switch was, hit the wall, and then turn around. Then I'm like, it was so disorienting, and like I was just confused.
When you're like,
and then I turn around and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, all right, am I actually awake right now? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, when you're in that weird in between, it's very hard to get
And then at that point, I was like, let me get to that light switch right now.
Really.
I probably tried running.
Where's my Inception top? I gotta spin that thing and see if I'm in reality. Yeah,
that was pretty freaky.
Yeah, dreams are a trip, man. Do you have any animal phobias? Like maybe did you get something? I know your mom is not the biggest fan of the dogs.
Oh yeah, like any kind of dog.
No, it doesn't matter. No matter.
You've witnessed this?
Yeah, of course.
It can be the friendliest,
even
softest.
Like the dog, even your own dog that you've had for years, is still like.
The only dog she ever liked was Rocky, who's the one I hated the most. Little Chihuahua.
Yeah, I remember.
Prick.
Yeah.
But I think the only reason why she liked him so much is because he was afraid of any kind of person.
I see.
So like it was perfect because then like anytime somebody was around actually trying to pet him, he would just kind of like just
cower.
Be terrified, cower, and just kind of be like, oh my God, don't pet me, like that. But he's such a prick because obviously in person, when it's face to face, he's like, oh my God, terrified.
Yeah.
But if he saw you over the fence, he'd be like,
if you
going crazy. This is the one thing I gotta say, man. Like, I know we probably have millions of Chihuahua followers too, like, Chihuahua lovers.
Yeah.
But I think
the Gringo Guapo has a very heavy Chihuahua fan base. So be careful.
I gotta say, I think Chihuahua is probably one of the shittiest dogs out there, man. I hate it.
There's one that's nearby that I don't like. Every time I walk by it slams up on the fence and also I can't stand the way it looks because it was clearly Chihuahua and something because its head is so big, dude. I know that we recently talked about Mars attacks, and that's exactly how it looks. Tiny Chihuahua body with like a normal dog head.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. And I hate it because every time it slams on the fence and
I mean, one of the craziest things that I think about is like when you look up like canines, dogs, and like their relation to wolves, like descendants of wolves.
At one time, yeah.
How did that happen? Like what the hell? And then why did we when the first Chihuahua was created?
Oh yeah, no, it took a while to get there, or like a pug or something.
Why didn't we just
or even like a bulldog is kind of messed up. When you think about it,
bulldog or pug. I do gotta say,
it's just constantly struggling to breathe.
Went over to a friend's house, and they had this Frenchie they called Oreo. Adorable. I fell in love with her. She has one black eye and then one kind of white.
Oh, okay.
White out eye. I don't know what you would call it when it's
just really light.
Yeah, just super light. And then obviously they call her Oreo because she has a speckle of black and white fur.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So cute. And I was like, that's awesome. But Chihuahuas, they suck.
Yeah,
I got one story specifically that reminded me of. I just got off the freeway. And there was this old lady, and I'm listening to music or a podcast, and I just hear her we're at the light, about to turn left, and she's just screaming at me. She's like, "Hey, freaking out!" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" So I paused my shit. Oh, I was on the phone. That's it. I was on the phone with Tyler or Andrew. And so, I put my window down, and she's like, "Hey, how do you get back on the freeway?" She's fully freaking out. I was like, "I need to get back on the freeway." Do I just
standing there? Or
no, she's in a car.
Oh, okay. You didn't explain. You just said a lady.
I'm sorry.
All right, so yeah, she needs to go back on the freeway.
Oh, damn, that would be funny if she was just... All right, so she's in her car. So she's like, yeah, she's freaking out. And I'm like, yeah, you know, like, if you turn around, you can just, like, get back on the freeway, no problem. And then, like, somebody who was behind her was like, they got impatient because, like, the light turned green and started honking at her. And then her chihuahua started freaking out and started
jumping all
barking all crazy. And then it was hard because I was still trying to explain to her how to get off the freeway. Yeah. But, like, her chihuahua was kind of, like, you know, barking over me. So, like, she couldn't really hear me too well. And I was just like, damn, man, Chihuahua's like,
just
you know,
causing
like,
a ruckus.
I'm really not a big cat fan, but I think I would take a cat over a Chihuahua. I don't know about you.
What's your opinion on snakes?
Snakes don't bother me too much. Ow, spiders, though. Spiders is what gets me.
Snakes don't bother?
Snakes don't really bother me too much. Not even, like, I mean, you know what?
Them, they're all slimy.
I mean,
like,
you know what? Like,
ugh.
if it's at somebody's house, domesticated, I'm totally comfortable with it. I've actually had it on my arm. Felt, you know, it's a very interesting feeling. But I mean, if I see one like in the desert, you know, that's a whole different story.
I remember when I was very young, my dad got like this really big snake, and I remember always being like, "Ugh, like I don't want anything to do with it." And then, guess how you feed a snake, dude? You gotta get live fucking mice. Yeah. So that's like, I'm also a little kid, and it's like, hey, you want to watch this mice get brutally like killed? And it's like, no, Dad, I really don't, dude.
That's pretty rough.
What do you think about maybe this will enhance your snake phobia?
Is this this is a python, isn't it?
I mean, up until recently, I considered the movie Anaconda to be complete fiction, but this is like kind of putting it in new perspective.
Is that anaconda?
I don't know.
Am I saying it right? Anaconda.
It says it was found in a village in India. And it looks like a big one. I wish Jennifer Lopez was there to kind of give it to scale, but I wouldn't want to be next to it. It looks like it's got something. It's pretty chunky in the middle.
Yeah, no, it definitely.
But just think about walking through the forest and like you trip on like, what was that, like a log? And then this thing just like kind of like up.
Not only that, but it's like destroying. Like,
yeah, the fact that it almost like rips that thing apart.
Stuff like that would freak me the hell out. I mean, that snake looks like it was like the size of like 2 humans. I mean,
I always thought Anaconda was bullshit, but I guess John Voight was right all along. Do you have any other big phobes?
One of my biggest ones I gotta say is, and sometimes, you know, a lot of friends will give you shit about this, but it's spiders, man. Spiders freak me out, dude. It's, you know, like, you know how people say, like, a majority of the time it's something that can't hurt you.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. It's like, to me, it's like the mystery, because there's so many different types of, like, poisonous spiders.
Usually they're not, like, on the offensive, and usually they are kind of better at, like, you know, helping out with, like, other annoying pests, you know, like flies or mosquitoes and stuff like that.
And, like, I saw some other videos where, like, this one guy, I think he's, like, one of those guys who, like, will... like get bit by certain things and stuff. And he did one video that actually kind of helped me a lot. He got a black widow and a brown recluse, and he put them both on his thumb, and then he synced like the other end of his arm, and pretty much that way there was no way they can get off his hand.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and he just wanted to show people. He's like, look, I got these two, and it'd be very bad if one of them bit me, but they never do.
Oh.
And like what he's like, the point he was trying to make is like usually, they'll only actually bite you is when they feel like they're in danger. Like if you're rolling over in your bed and you're squishing it, you know, stuff like that, or you like try to brush it off your arm.
Same ballpark with like sharks. I think sharks really got a bad rap. I think even like the guy who wrote the book Jaws, he's like gone on record being like, dude, if I could go back, I would take it back, because I kind of accidentally made these sharks who are normally like just pretty chill into like the biggest villains of the ocean, because like usually they don't attack,
right?
And when they do attack, that's like the way that they kind of like investigate stuff is like they don't have arms or hands, so it's like the only way they can like figure out what it is to kind of just like bite it. So it's just like it's not necessarily like a curious bite more than like a Jaws kind of a bite.
Yeah.
But yeah, other fears. How you feeling about claustrophobia? I know we talked about The Descent.
Yeah, definitely major.
So this guy's in like an underground cave.
No.
Also underwater.
I've talked to somebody who's done this.
So there's a part coming up, like his friend kind of loses track of where he is. I think he's trying to like swim to the air pocket, and like he kind of misses it. You'll see him in a second. He's like way in the back of the cave. You barely see his head.
Oh my God! I'm coming out.
Yeah, that's me. That would be me.
No, that would be me before you even got in there. That'd be me when you're like, okay, so this is the entrance. I'm like, okay, well, I'm done. Get me out.
Yeah. Like, dude, we haven't even gone in yet.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm not down for that.
Anytime when
I'm
they have
not
to, like,
down for
when
that
you're like
kind of stuff.
pressing your face against the rock and like scraping to like get through, like, okay, this is the tight part. We gotta exhale. It's like, no, dude.
I think I mentioned at one point that like just having my blanket over my head, I can't even stand that.
You can't use weighted blankets. I know. Yeah. Like, imagine like I talked about like combo fear. Imagine like you're in that little press and it's like, oh shit, there's a spider nest and it's like 1,000 spiders.
Oh yeah, then
just start smashing your head against the wall. It's a dream.
Yeah, I would just take myself out at that point.
Yeah, there's not much else you can do. But any other fears you want to touch on before we move on, or anything else worth bringing up? Phobias?
I mean, there's one phobia I can't remember. Maybe you can look it up. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like the phobia of the ocean. Just like a big.
It's a Thalassophobia or something like that.
Yeah, it's just like the big
the fear of huge
the unknown.
Have you ever
the clip I watched while they were explaining it, like, dude, it just watching it gave me. It's like some kind of like cruise ship. Might be like some kind of fishing boat, but they were in the middle of like a storm, and these waves were massive, dude, massive, and it's like just seeing. Yeah. The boat kind of coming like on the decline, you know,
smash,
and then you just see the huge wave, and it's just everything makes you seem so small.
Force out
and
there,
then just watching that video, I was like, "Fuck, I would never want to be in that."
A really good
area,
way to experience that. Thalassophobia. I wish I knew what it was called, but the fear of the ocean or fear of open water or whatever. Have you ever jumped in like a big clear open water like that?
The only thing is like a big clear like lake.
I've done a lake too.
Yeah, but not the ocean.
It's a horrifying experience, dude. I did not even feel like I explained it well. I just remember jumping in the water, and the closest thing I can think of is like you're just in space. Like it's just you're in a void. It's just nothing. Like you can see everything, and yet there's just nothing, and it's so horrifying. Just this huge open space, and then just thinking like this thing coming out of the abyss.
Imagine seeing just something
or like a tentacle.
Exactly. And then
horrifying.
and you're probably not going to stand a chance, especially if it's like something that nobody's ever seen. You know, which I'm a firm believer of happening with my luck. It'll happen the first time I jump in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we covered a lot of good fears. We can probably move on. You want to talk about? There's only a few other things we can, because we're getting close on time. We can cover a few current events, or we can talk about some Musk action. Which one do you prefer?
I'll let you go ahead and pick.
Well, I feel like the Musk thing we can kind of fold into the current events. So we'll do current events. Starting with Musk himself. So the big news on Musk, there's a biopic in the works. Director Darren Aronofsky, who, darn it, you know what? I had all of his movies. I remember what they were. I always remember The Whale, because that's like the most recent one.
Yeah.
The Whale, that's like his big one. But he's got some other good ones. Where are you? Darren Aronofsky. But yeah, what do you think about doing the Musk biopic? You got any idea of who'd be a good one to play the Musk man himself?
Who would be good to play?
He also directed The Wrestler.
Yeah.
There was like another one in there too. There we go. The Whale, Mother. I don't know if you've seen Mother. Black Swan, Wrestler. Black Swan was a good one. Noah, that one was not that good. But
He did Noah?
He did Noah,
With Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe, Noah, yeah. I agree. Big ooh. I had to watch that so many times. That was back when I worked at the drive-in.
Okay, I was like, why? Who would do that to you?
Loved it, dude.
Some Clockwork Orange torturing stuff?
I was trying to find a flaw and never could.
Yeah.
But yeah, directed by Darren Aronofsky. Yeah, I feel like there's, all sorts of Elon stuff every other day. I feel like a Cybertruck is also getting closer and closer to finally hitting the streets or, finally getting out there.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it still. I still kind of don't know how I feel about the look.
I feel like the look is the biggest argument I've had.
I've seen interesting videos, too, of, doing, climbing up hills, and it doesn't look...
I heard some things.
The most 4x4. I think your Jeep out there would toast it. Yeah. In any kind of a 4x4 situation.
Yeah. I feel like I can't comment on that too much. Yeah. But I can say, who I was thinking about as a good person to play Elon. I feel like I can see, what's his name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Really? Maybe. You know what? That's interesting because I haven't seen. I haven't seen JGL for quite some time.
Yeah. Am I saying his name right? Because I always swap his middle name and his last name.
It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Okay, Gordon.
You know who randomly comes to mind, and I'm going to see if I can get a picture here for you. Tell me what your thoughts are on my pick for Elon.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of something that he's been in that you might recognize. You're familiar with Jesse Plemons?
Jesse Plemons. I probably had to see him because that doesn't sound familiar.
You know what's surprising is that his IMDb pictures are not that good. Let me see if I can get a better one for you. What did I say? Oh, yeah, Jesse Plemons.
How do you say his last name?
I don't know, dude. I think this might be an interesting must. I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Jesse Plemons?
Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think he's an awesome actor, dude. I think
he's a great actor,
really great actor.
Damn.
Yeah? I feel like Must is a weird one.
Damn.
Weird one to play. I would be interested, I guess, to hear, his
He was in,
story.
I liked him in Antlers. He was in Antlers. He plays a cop. He was in
I'm
Breaking
pretty
Bad.
sure... Yeah, he was great in Breaking Bad. I'm pretty sure I've liked him in, everything is...
Yeah.
Even when he's, a tiny thing.
100% agree. You know, the one thing that bothered me...
What was that?
The first time I ever saw him was I thought he was... no, Jesse, if you're listening...
Which he is.
I don't mean to put you down or anything. But I just thought he was a weird-looking Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I was like, is that guy
I think that's how he started his career. It's kind of like the guy who's like, there's something off about this guy. Yeah.
It's like they tried cloning Matt Damon. And
he was very weird in Breaking Bad. He was very weird.
Yeah.
Because at first he's cool, but then it's he's a sociopath.
Right.
Elon Musk. That's the big picture to look forward to. We'll see if we have.
That's an interesting pick. Definitely wouldn't be one. But
it just randomly.
I feel like
they have the same shaped face. They have the same shaped head and face.
Yeah, because of his acting for sure. I feel
and then just the way that Musk is very kind of.
But I feel like maybe if they were trying to go from definitely a younger look and earlier start in his career, I would kind of think Joseph.
It's interesting. Be an interesting flick to watch, I guess.
Yeah.
In other news, specifically news straight out of Colombia. Have you heard? At one time, there was this gentleman known as Pablo Escobar, and he was so wealthy, and so had nothing else to spend his money on, apparently, imported hippos into Colombia.
I believe he did. I remember he was into a lot of stuff. But
definitely.
I didn't know specifically that he did hippos. But.
Yeah, specifically brought over hippos who are not indigenous to Colombia. So brought them over. The whole thing goes down. Obviously, what happened with him happened. They were at his place, and it was so difficult to get to them. They're just kind of all right, well, let's just leave the hippos there for now. Hippos do what hippos do, just kind of fuck and just keep, multiplying. So basically, it turned into a situation where there's so many hippos now. all from goddamn Pablo Escobar because he imported them over.
Yeah.
Then now Colombia is like, okay, now it's a problem. Now we got to take care of these hippos, dude, because they're hungry. So yeah, this is like an ongoing effort.
That's insane.
Like the Colombian government's like, okay, now let's do something about this now. It's just wild to think about. Like so many years ago, this rich maniac drug lord was like, you know what's cool?
Hippos, dude.
I wish hippos were here right now.
You know?
And then just like, random rich people buying, random rich exotic animals, and to think about it just becoming like part of Colombia.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, hippos are gnarly too. I don't know.
I was gonna say
we should have brought it up in Phobia.
What was that show?
Dude, I love watching videos of like when they feed them, like they throw like a whole watermelon in their mouth and they just like.
Yeah, like they can crush, dude.
And then they can't just crush; they also move, dude. Yeah. Like that video, like when he's chasing the boat and like the boat cannot get away fast enough, dude. The hippo is moving through the water like a fucking shark, dude. It's just like
they definitely can move and they can
handle. They have great public PR team, dude. Because hippos are like not known for being as gnarly as they are.
Oh shit! Sorry about that.
Last year there were hardly any shots taken.
Dude, yeah, I know.
Sorry about that.
Hippo was the key word, I guess. The government is always ready to jump in on the hippo talk.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that one show where they would pick like two gnarly animals, and they would fight, and hippo was
like Deadliest Warrior, but with animals.
And I remember like the hippo put up a good fight.
Are gnarly. Hippos are gnarly.
Yeah,
they also have those gnarly
jaws. Their jaws have really good strength, and then they have the crazy ass.
Like they're almost like tusks. Yeah,
they're almost
teeth,
like tusks, but they're like
tusk teeth.
Yeah. So I would definitely never mess with a hippo. They
multiple uses. But moving on to the next big news story, and this will probably be the final one of the episode. Biggest news. Let's see if you've heard it yet. Have you heard? Up until now, it's just been the legend. I never thought I'd live long enough to see the day.
Bigfoot.
It might as well be Bigfoot, dude. It is right there.
We were just talking about it.
But apparently it's happening. Apparently we are going to see it within our lifetime. The trailer is supposed to drop next month. GTA 6 is here. It's finally, it's happening, apparently.
GTA 6.
So it's like, well, I finally have to get a new system, I guess. I've been rocking with the one, which...
Xbox One?
Yeah, which has got to be... Yeah, I don't even know when that came out, but... it might be finally time. I've been waiting, and now that it's GTA time, I think that's why I bought the one, is because that's when GTA 5 came out.
Yeah.
So long ago. Great game. Still being, updated to this day. There's constant DLCs for that thing. Long time coming. I'm expecting... to have my head explode the way that it did with 5 at the time, the way it did with Red Dead when that came out. You know what I mean?
I couldn't imagine. I'm so far behind video games.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this.
Let me tell you this. You ever heard of a game called Pong, dude?
When people got the one, when the one was new, and then what PlayStation was out when Xbox One was out?
Could that possibly have been 3? Or 4?
I want to say it
had to be 4. Yeah, 4 sounds better.
I was still rocking the 360.
Yeah, dude, 360.
I was still rocking the 360. As a matter of fact, probably when I moved back, before I moved back, I tried using my 360 and I got the red ring finally.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, I guess this is time to say goodbye.
This is it.
I was like, shit, well, I got my money's worth.
I think that's what happened to mine when I finally did it, red rain, and I was like,
Dude, I had that thing for
it's not even I don't even remember being mad or upset. I'm just like, it just feels like, and that's the end.
It was like, goodbye, old friend.
Good run. It's good to be with you.
But redeem myself, I do have the newest Xbox.
Oh.
So,
nice.
Happy with that.
I
still haven't really played that many games. I played Dead Space a little bit.
Well, I mean, jumping from 360 to the new one, I mean, that's got to be a jump in all kinds of technology.
I don't even know what it's called. I have it, but I don't know what the hell it's called.
I'm definitely, I know we've talked, I'm definitely going.
Kind of looks like a subwoofer.
I'm going back to Sony. I have been on the Microsoft
traitor,
team, but...
scumbag.
Going back.
I don't blame you.
Going back.
You were talking about like the exclusives.
Exclusives, dude.
Dude, like that
God
bums
of
me
War.
up because I would
Spider-Man.
love Spider-Man looks really good.
It looks so
God
good,
of War.
dude.
It's
Spider-Man
always
looks
been.
amazing.
I've always wanted to play God of War.
Yeah, it is
Always,
good. I've
you know?
played. I missed out on the last one. The last like 2, I think I haven't been able to play.
Yeah.
Not since like God of War 2. My God, which is so long ago. But we can probably go ahead, call it there. Call it an episode. Good one.
Sounds good.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming down, buddy. Appreciate you always jumping on the pod, and thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. Before we get out of here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, as it's much appreciated, and it's just right there. I am your host as always, Kyle McLemore.
Alex Duarte.
And we'll see you next time on the pod.